All right, all right, all right. Goldberg,
Yo,
you in the building. All right, Heelcast. I see we got Larky Lark also going here.
he just left.
Oh, Larkin's not no longer there.
I just
Wow.
watched Demore's promo at the end.
What did you think of the promo?
I mean, the passion, great passion. Like you could see he cares so much. I mean, it was a
Yeah.
hell of a promo. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Hell of a promo.
Absolutely. And like the way he gave that promo and then to have crossed the line
Do you think
play
was
after
that
that I thought
playing in the
was
arena or did they like dub that over?
that's a good question. Honestly don't know. If I had to guess, I'd probably say it was probably playing on the TV.
So
Just the TV.
at the end of that almost made it seem to me like forget everything that happened with Impact Wrestling. Like this is like a new era of wrestling, and that's how I'm going to look at it. Like I'm going to give them a fresh chance as a new, basically almost like a new promotion. Like I want to see more of these people that I just saw tonight. Basically, I don't know how to explain it, but
No, I think you're right. I think you're spot on. I think they're going to, and it's fine if you take it that
yeah,
way because I think it should be taken that way. I think that that promo was to define a new era for TNA, and I think that I think that was a way to kick it off. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Obviously, um, it's going to be mostly about TNA, but we're gonna touch on a few other topics as well. But my goodness, that was a hell of a promo, hell of a way to really just set the tone for the from the last 5 days and going forward. So I agree. I agree with you though. Like there's some things in Impact Wrestling like 2020, 2021. I mean, they're putting on shows, but the whole COVID mess and it just I don't know. 2022, 2023, I thought they kind of there's some good moves, some not good moves, but I think going forward, I think it's a whole new company. I agree with you. Whole new branding. Great to see that logo
oh,
back.
so great,
That,
so great, and the
yeah,
and the song.
yes, yes, the song,
But
everything.
now the
So
booking needs to catch up to where it was when TNA first started. They got to put over these guys, young kids, just like they did when they started before, and they made Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Jay Lethal. They got to do that with the next batch of
the
yeah,
next
yeah.
crop,
They got to.
yeah,
I don't want to see these. I get it. You wanted two big names in the main event, but I want to see. I want to see some some fresh faces being booked properly.
yes, yes. And one of those fresh faces, and I know you're a huge fan of the guy, is Alex Hammerstone. This guy, to me, he wants to be a part of
Hmm.
TNA Impact. At least that's what it seems like. He's not signed yet. So I'm not sure if this is a money thing or what it is right
I
now. But the
I
guy
would think
wants
it's a
to be
money thing.
there. Yeah, yeah. Well, I really hope like whatever they can do, sign this guy. I think he wants to be there, but I also don't know what's going on behind the scenes with him, so I can't comment on that. But yeah, they need to sign Alex Hammerstone and have him be a part of this new, fresh rebuild because from what I saw, that guy, he
I
is
know.
the
He's
deal.
yeah,
You were correct
yeah.
about that, Goldberg. He's a guy I want in my main events, being a big story. I want to put him in storylines. I want to have him be a part of this
Yeah,
new era.
yeah, and he's got the look. I believe he can talk from what I've seen, and he I love his finisher too. It's it's like thinking outside the box, something no one else does. And
Yes.
it reminds me of like when Petey Williams started the Canadian Destroyer, even though that's been dead and buried by AEW. Thank you, Tony Khan. So Yeah, I like his finisher too. You know, it's a new type of finisher. So this guy, I want to see him on TV, and I think he'd fit in perfectly in the heavyweight division at TNA. God, it feels
Yeah,
good to
no,
say that
I
again. TNA,
yes, it does. TNA, three letters that should have never been Impact
right?
Wrestling, and that dig at Bruce Pritchard, man. Wow,
Big pop by the crowd,
wow.
big boo by the crowd.
Yes, yes.
Do you think
I
Larkin watched?
totally
We got
forgot about
Larkin's
that.
back in here.
Yeah, I think Larkin did watch. I think Larkin. I think he
How do we let
absolutely
him say
watched,
something?
and I did. I invited Larkin to
Uh,
speak, but I don't know if he didn't accept or I'll invite it again. I don't know if it's just I'm not sure, but well, he can message
okay.
us, I guess, if he can't get on.
Oh, right.
Goldberg, if you could do me a favor, if you could check the Heelcast messages under this space without hanging up, and see if he's trying to get on.
Um,
But
no, I don't see anything.
okay, okay. Well, we'll just
Let me.
maybe he just wants to listen. I don't know. But anyways, yeah. What a night. What a great way to end the show. There's a lot to do forward moving forward, but from what I've seen, I'm liking what I'm seeing. So great way to start. So before we do all the recapping and of the two shows, why don't we do kind of like what we've been doing for the past year? Because the Heelcast has not been active, and I'm hoping that Thursday nights we can at least get together every time. Not every Thursday, but a lot more than we used to. Because I think I'm starting to get my passion back for wrestling. Because it kind of fell out a little bit, but
You know.
I think the Rumble is kind of looking all right. Um, I think that's something that we can talk about tonight. Some other things we can talk about, but Goldberg, where are you with wrestling right now?
Ah, man, you know where I am. I am just down on wrestling. I like what I saw tonight out of TNA. The bit that I did catch, I was working, but when I got off, the bit that I did catch at the end, um, I mean, it does make me hopeful, but I have no interest in AEW, as you know. I don't think you do either. Um,
Yeah, not right now. There's nothing pulling
th-
me in.
th-
No
as
disrespect, but
as no, total disrespect, total disrespect. As far as WWE goes, I will always probably just watch the WrestleManias, the Royal Rumbles.
yeah,
Anytime I know The Rock or Stone Cold or someone's going to be on my TV, I'll tune in. But I mean, there's no way in hell I could ever sit through a Raw or a SmackDown, contrary to what RVE thinks. I can't do it. It's awful. Contrary to what you
yeah.
think. I think you think I like them.
Well, you know what I was doing? I was just pointing out some of the stuff that may not be so great.
Yeah. I mean,
You know.
it's yeah, it's so WWE to me stinks, and I do like, however, I like LA Knight. I think they got a couple decent guys up and coming, Braun Breaker, but yeah, I mean, I have no interest in watching. For me, the last time I watched wrestling fluently, religiously, was TNA. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
Scott Demore's got something up his sleeve. I don't want to see random matches. I want to see I want to see storylines. Give me storylines and build up some guys. Make me care about people.
Yes. Yes. I agree 100% with you. We need a top storyline, like a one that's going to last for 6 months and it's going to be have a great payoff
Yeah.
and get you to really like be like, oh wow, that was a really good story.
But Hurls, that's probably why I think WWE is the best of the bunch.
Yeah.
And it's not saying much, but it's because they have recurring storylines, while AEW is more like indie wrestling. They don't have that. They'll just have random matches, and TNA was kind of doing the same thing. So maybe I'm hoping they'll change, but their main event tonight was a random match.
Yes, yes, it was. And but the right guy won. I mean, there's a lot to be said about like TNA bringing in Okada and Osprey. They're trying to get that publicity, right? They're
But
trying to get it over.
well, what kind of publicity is that going to get you?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. Like, you're talking about WCW, WWF in its prime publicity. That's gone and sailed away
I
unless
know, I know.
unless wrestling can figure out somehow to get back into the mainstream pop culture. But right now it's just not coming.
It's a
It's a
niche.
lot
You're
different
right.
environment.
No, it's turned into a niche audience.
Yes,
It's
yes.
not. It's
Besides,
not. You're not watching with your family anymore.
yes, and I would even argue like WWE's main audience is you got a lot of the hardcores, but you also have a lot of kids, right? But then you get like these returnings, like
Yeah.
me. Well, not really me because I think I'm more of a hardcore. But you get the people that like used to watch.
Hmm.
They'll tune in for Royal Rumble and WrestleMania because they know
Right.
it. It's like
Right.
embedded with
It's
them.
a
So
staple. Yeah.
yes, so that's why you can draw those massive 900 or 90,000 people at these events. It's because they want to see what they remembered from the
Sure.
glory years. Especially if
Sure.
you bring a guy like The Rock in. Oh, okay, then it's a guy that they're familiar with. So I just think that's kind of how WWE is right now. That's why they have the most money out of anybody, so they can put on the best production. They can get those celebrities, the mainstream crossovers a lot easier. And going back to your point, I think what TNA is trying to do is they are trying to be a wrestling company, but I could honestly tell you, do you think TNA would ever want to work with AEW again after seeing what Tony
No.
Khan does on this
No.
platform?
No.
I don't
No.
think so. I honestly don't think so.
No. And also, Hurls. Before I forget, because I know this kind of a little off topic, but Scott Demore, his promo at the end. First of all, again, he had the headset around his neck. I mean, enough with that headset. But his promo at the end was so good that like I forget being the TNA cheerleader. I think he should be an on-screen authority character again. Like, and maybe lead a heel group like Bischoff, did with the NWO almost. Like
Yeah,
he's too good. He's too
yeah,
good to just be the guy who comes with the headset and people are coming in his office and he's just I mean, I guess he is the authority figure, but I feel like he should be like some kind of like heel. I don't know, aligned with the group, maybe. Is that?
absolutely. No, I absolutely agree with you. He was so good with Team Canada.
He
He
could
could just
reincarnate Team Canada, and Josh Alexander could be the leader.
yes.
He
Like
really
if
could.
Alexander wants to go heel, which I
Yeah,
think could happen, he
yeah.
has not been heel since that he was in a tag team with the North. I think that would be a great way to do it, and then you just
Wow,
bring
what
in
a
a
what
bunch
a
of other.
different direction those two guys went, huh?
Yeah, yeah, no kidding.
Wrong decision, Ethan Page.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, he's been buried. He's been
Very.
in random faction after random faction, and I don't think any of it has paid off. Like none of those guys have had any like besides maybe more eyeballs and a bigger platform. Nothing's really worked well for them.
Larkin,
Yeah, Lark Larkin was in here. I don't.
he's in here.
Yeah, I don't know.
It says
I
he's
invited him to speak. He was speaking for a bit, but now he's back to being a listener. So
no, he's a speaker now.
on mine it says he's back to a listener, but I invited him again.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
It says speaker on mine, but all right. Hopefully he hops in at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to see Demore with Josh Alexander, and I mean, to me, that would catapult Josh Alexander to like next level. Uh, I don't want to say stardom because you're right. I don't think they can build stars anymore, like
Yeah.
worldwide stars, but
Yeah.
like next level, like interesting. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. He's
Well,
there's still something missing with him, and I know you love him, but for me,
yeah.
there's still something missing.
Well, yeah, I think they can try their darndest, right? Like you could maybe try to do like a Matt Hardy style where you remember when they were on Pop TV,
Hmm.
Matt Hardy got that impact up to
He
like
did.
four high 400,000 viewers.
Well, if him and Jeff Hardy were smart, they'd come back too.
Yeah, they should. They should. Honestly, I really think they should because I think they would get the best run. Their last run,
I
I think
think
they
their
would do
last
well.
run is going to be. I think they're going to go back to WWE for one more run. in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I mean that would make sense, right? But I think they honestly should think about doing
Matt
TNA.
Hardy did his best work of his career at TNA. So
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He
he
made
was
it
he was always Jeff Hardy's partner at TNA. He was Matt Hardy. So,
correct.
uh,
Correct.
and that's why I like Nick Nemeth. I love the signing, and I know the rest of the Heelcast was a little down on the Scott Demore building up a big signing and it just being Nick Nemeth, but I think he's a perfect signing for TNA. I thought Heath Slater was too, and he never panned out. But I think this is I think he could be a main event staple.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree because he kind of fits that style too, right? Like he can go with X division guys, he can go with heavyweight guys, he can kind of go with either. I mean, if you remember his WWE run, he was always kind of the workhorse, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like he kind of had traits of like Shawn Michaels,
Shawn Michaels, yeah.
yeah, Billy Gunn. He had similar traits
He's
to
got a
those
good look.
guys. Yes,
But
absolutely.
his promo tonight was a little boring, honestly.
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. But how
But
about Macklin?
I
How
love
about
it.
Steve Macklin?
Yeah, love it, love it.
I mean,
And
that was
Macklin,
great.
dude, Macklin is a tremendous heel. He's
Yes.
tremendous. I've seen him locally here at the Boca Raton Championship Wrestling numerous times, and the guy gets more heat than anyone when he comes out. Anyone, the crowd's booing him, and he knows how to work the crowd. He's really good, and
Very good.
he didn't get his due as champ, right? Didn't he get hurt?
Yeah, so he took it from Alexander, who was hurt, but then he lost to Alex Shelley.
He lost it pretty fast, no?
He had it for probably 2 months. Yeah, it wasn't a long reign.
And I think he deserved a little longer run.
Yeah, it wasn't a long reign. He but the line that I loved, like nobody's gonna remember you
Right.
as Nick Nemeth. They're only gonna they're only ask what happened to Dolph Ziggler. That was great.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
that's
was
a
absolutely great.
great line.
Yep. So loved how they weren't just hot shotting him to the main event right away. Like Macklin, I think is a perfect feud for him to start off.
Well, they definitely shouldn't hotshot him to the main event. And I don't know. I don't know how you want to go about this. If you want to talk about Hard to Kill,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
if
I
you want
do
to
actually.
go over it, then I'll save
Yeah.
my thoughts
Uh,
when we go over it because I got some thoughts on his debut, um, Nick Nemeth's debut. But yeah, overall, I love the signing, and I hope he's booked right. Because don't you think Heath Slater should have been booked better?
so he got what? The tag titles with Rhino one time.
But
Um
come on, I get it. I get the reunion with Rhino, but he should have been a main event guy. I mean, he's a perfect.
no, I mean, I agree. But
Yeah,
he got injured. I think
yeah, but then he came back.
he did. He did.
He's a perfect example of a guy mid Carter in WWE who could come over, make a name for himself, and maybe even be a champion at TNA.
Yeah. Yeah, he could be if he worked it. He'd have to come up with a whole new gimmick though. He would have to come up with
He's a
something
good
like
talker.
Matt Cardona. Like, look what Zack Ryder did. Because I think Matt Cardona could have been a world champion in TNA. Like
Listen, you're preaching to the choir because I also thought Brian Myers could have been,
Brian
and
Myers too. And I
yeah.
also want to get to him too. Eventually, I want to talk about that the new stable with Moose. Um,
Yeah, you're
but
gonna have to catch me up on that because I saw him and who else is in that stable?
you got Eddie Edwards and
Right. I saw them come out
yeah,
and cheer when Moose won the title.
yes.
Why they didn't come out and help him after he got beat up, I don't know. But um,
Well, yeah, that was well. They did well. They were out there. D'Angelo Williams was out there too.
was he?
Yes, yes, he was that hard to kill. They were out there. They were waiting for Nick Nemeth to come through the tunnel, and then Nick Nemeth goes through the crowd, and then does those moves. And I guess they weren't able to get to him in time. And then Nick Nemeth goes in the crowd, and that's when he
He
celebrates.
got
It reminded me of
someone.
a Diamond Dallas Page kind of run in,
Got
against the
someone just
NWO.
joined in listening. Wonder if he has any thoughts on the show tonight.
Yeah. Well, we could take some calls in a little bit, you know. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that the whole setup with the system, I like the stable. I mean, they're going to have to do some branding to kind of get that thing over. But to be honest, though, I think it's a good pairing. I think, Brian Myers, he just signed a new deal. So I think they're going to want to use him and Eddie. They're going to be a tag team for a while, and then Moose is going to be the stable leader. It's going to be tough to take Moose down. So I think there's going to be whoever goes after Moose is going to be
Moose deserves a good run this time. So, and
yes,
obviously Scott Demore thinks highly of him to put him as the first TNA champ back in
yes,
TNA, and I like that it was Alex Shelley that
that he beat.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
just a TNA original. It was that was the right way to go. It was the right way to do it. Now let Moose take the reins, and I hope I hope he does something good with them. He'll probably have a better run than MJF did as champ at AEW.
I mean, right? You know what I think of that whole run there. But
Oh, you were right about Hangman Page, right? I gave you your views.
yeah,
I gave you your props on that.
that guy just
You were right. You were right. The guy had great theme music, so he got me excited. But
right.
he's got a
I think
great theme song.
he could be good. That's the thing. Like he could be a good wrestler, but
Well,
I I, I
if
think
this guy, the guy that's listening, Blood Rain, that just joined, if he wants to say anything, he can put it in the chat, and we can let him talk if he wants. If he's
yeah.
got,
I know Blood Rain. I've
oh,
seen
you
him.
know this guy?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've seen him
Well, let us know
on
in the
X.
chat if you want to say anything. We'll let you chime in. Otherwise,
Yeah,
what do you want to do? You want to talk about Hard to Kill?
yeah. Let's go. Let's talk about Hard to Kill. Let me bring up the card here because I did order this on Saturday, so my memory's a little shaky on
What'd you
everything.
pay for this show?
I'd rather $219 for the whole package. You get all the pay-per-views, but
What do you
it's
mean
like
for a
for a year.
year?
For a year, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what are you gonna have? 12 premium pay-per-views?
So you get the four, you get the big four, and then you get the other ones in between. So those are just called like premium live events, I believe.
So do you watch it on the app?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, and then you could watch obviously any other show in TNA history.
Yes, correct.
Nice.
And then they have some other stuff like New Japan and not like everything by New Japan, but some like crossover shows they put on there, and then they also do like they have some documentaries on there. Gail Kim, Bobby Lashley, Eric Young. They got quite a few different stuff on there, so it's pretty cool. All right, now Goldberg. Okay, Blood Rain says he's just listening.
All right,
So yeah,
that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. That's fine. Yeah. So we're gonna go with the Knockouts Ultimate X. Now Goldberg, we're gonna keep this semi PC, okay? Because I think you know where I'm gonna go with this. So we're
I
just
do
gonna
know.
talk. We're just gonna talk about the match itself. So
That's fine.
Ultimate X for the Knockouts. I thought this was actually a really good match. I think it was like Ultimate X with knockouts. You're not really sure how it's gonna go, right? Because they've never really done them before. I thought this was actually pretty good. Was it a spot fest? Yeah, absolutely. Like there was some, unbelievability, but I was impressed. Like I told you in the chat, like Zia Brookside, I'm really happy they signed her.
Mm-hmm.
Really, Jody Threat, who was also in this match, who's not signed. She was entertaining. Tasha Steeles, I've never really been a big fan of her. Like she's okay, but like I could never buy her as the champ, right? Like she's just
Mm-hmm.
not somebody that to me screams knockouts champion. But ultimately, it was Giselle Shaw that won this. I was not too happy. I don't know. She doesn't really do it for me.
She.
Or yeah,
Oh,
well, there you go. It's all right. I'll let you get that one in. Um,
I
you
have
know,
more, so I won't. I'll stop
yeah. Well,
there.
I have
I'll
more
stop.
too, but
I'll stop there. I'll
yeah,
stop there.
yeah. Uh, yeah. I kind of figured that Giselle would win this match just
Yeah.
because.
Yeah.
If you looked at the other two, Alicia Edwards, she's not gonna win, right?
Right.
Like she never wins.
Right.
Tasha Steele, she ain't winning. So it was kind of like Giselle was kind of the winner by default because the other ones weren't signed. At least we didn't know they were signed. So, but overall though, like I thought it was a good match. Like it got the crowd going. So that was the main thing about this. So I'll say that was a positive. Now, Goldberg, what do you think of PCO?
I like PCO
Yes.
as a character. I
Yeah.
like him. Could I take him? Do I take him seriously? That's another discussion. I think there's a certain place to book a guy like PCO. Um, and I think you can put him in angles, you can put him in storylines. I think that's fine, but um, yeah, I mean, I like him. I do like him. I think he's a maniac too,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
the guy's certifiably insane.
His
Um,
his
yeah,
intro is like one of the best I think TNA has
yeah,
ever done. Like
yeah,
with the doctors trying to revive him, like the whole Frankenstein thing. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah. He's a
That is
character. I mean,
yes,
that's what we need more in
correct.
wrestling. We need characters, and he's one of them. He just happens to be like 60 years old. But
Yes, yes. Former WWF Tag Team Champion with the Quebecers, by the way. Like
I
I
know.
could not
I know. This guy
believe that.
I know. I know. I cannot believe it's the same guy. He really recreated himself from a regular guy taking the name PC, the same name basically, just now initials rather than his full name, and becoming another character. He's
It's, how does that like I think the thing with him is he took so much time off wrestling because I want to say his last run was like late 90s. Like he was actually signed with WCW for a very short time. And they even had a WCW house show where
okay.
he wrestled the guy. I don't know if it was him or his partner, the Mountie, but they actually had the Mountie go over Hulk
Yeah.
Hogan at this house show. Like, because they were in like Montreal.
That's I met the Mountie at WrestleCon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you got? You got any history with the Mountie besides that, or you a fan or?
No, not a fan.
Okay.
He was just the one taking the money so I could meet Lex Luger, so I had to pay the Mountie.
Oh, wow, that is weird. That's a weird. That's a weird story and combo. I would have never thought those two guys
I
hung
also had
like
to pay him to meet the Steiner brothers, so I don't know. The Mountie was cleaning up that weekend.
that. He was cooking.
He was.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah. So what do you think of Dirty Dango, formerly Fandango in WWE?
I mean, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's he's a mid card. He's a fine guy. Like you got to have people in the mid card, and he's he's another guy he's a character. So I don't dislike him, but I need these guys in like the way to put these guys over, Hurls, like is they have to be in storylines, like recurring storylines, not just like what Tony Khan will do in AEW. And I don't want to keep bashing them. Well, actually, I don't care, but he'll constantly book things, and then like 2 weeks later, he'll just forget about him, and then we'll move on to something else because the guy cannot keep his mind focused. Like he'll just immediately think of something else. Like, oh no, this is good too. This is better. I'll do this. And like it just can't. I like TNA used to have long term stories and angles and like how many times did Christopher Daniels get involved, like fight AJ Styles or Kazarian or Matt Bentley or like the rest of these guys? Like they had so many run-ins over the years that like they made each other names, like it's just like it, the storylines are key right now for the next reincarnation of TNA. Pearls? Oof. I don't know if I'm on my own here or if I'm the one that dropped off. If anyone's listening, Larkin, Blood Rain, You could let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Don't know if am I frozen here? I believe it's Hurls. Hmm. Yeah, I think Hurls is the one with the problem here. I'm gonna sit tight for a minute, see if appreciate that, Blood Rain. Um, give it another minute. Maybe he just got upset because I was putting TNA down a little bit. Hurls, we know Hurls is TNA is Hurls' love child, so. Well, I might give
Yeah. Yeah,
he's
yeah.
back.
I made a rookie mistake there. Phone died.
What
Yeah.
happened?
Oh yeah,
Really? Wow.
died. I had to scramble to. I had to
I
scramble.
wasn't sure if it was. I thought it was
Oh
me for
no,
a minute there.
we're good. We're good. We got a charger now.
Um,
We are good to go. Thank you for being a
so
pro there.
yeah, no, I don't. So I don't know if you I don't know if you heard what I said or not, but yeah,
Well, you probably went over the match, right?
yeah. Wait, Blood Rain just commented in the chat. Been a fan of the company since '02, seen the ups and downs, but right now is an amazing high. I think that's how we all feel.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see where it's going to go. I think TNA has always had a lot of highs and lows. Like we've seen it. I think you can kind of argue what your favorite era of TNA is, but
But they may be the last true company that legitimately built stars
yes,
who can go from TNA. Like you're gonna tell me Wheeler Yuta or Orange Cassidy could leave AEW, show up in WWE, and anyone's gonna know who they are?
no, no,
No.
no.
The TNA legitimately built stars who left TNA, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Robert Roode, and these guys showed up in WWE and they were still known because TNA was universally known at the time. Like I mean, it's the last true time that wrestling was at its peak, and that's what gets me excited. Is I hope they can somehow pull that off again.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think they are. I think they're slowly at least trying to get back to where they were. Gosh, at least like 2004, 2005, because I think like you can't really say 2009. I think that was like peak era for them. Like peak era. I mean, what you probably argue 2010, 2011, but
Right around there, yeah, right
see, I
around
think
there.
I think that like I know you are pro Hogan, but like I feel like I'm not against Hogan. Don't get me wrong. He did not mesh well though. I think guys like Kevin Nash came in. He actually wanted to work with the young guys, and I think like
Well, he did a
Hogan.
tremendous job with Alex Shelley, Paparazzi
Yes,
Productions.
paparazzi productions. Like I feel like all the guys they had, like Steiner and Sting, they all worked well with the AJs, with the Joes. They worked well with those guys. I just feel like Hogan like tried to just change everything so fast, so quick. And it's like ever since that point, they were trying to get back to their identity. And it just like it never worked. Like there were
Well,
things I loved about some of
my,
those eras.
but my love for Hogan is only because I love Hulk Hogan,
Correct.
and I also thought the end of the end of his last match with Sting. I thought that was well done. I really did. I don't care how much hate it gets me. I love that match, and I love the end of the match afterward when he hulked up and the crowd went fucking nuts. I think Griggs was there in the crowd.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and I like that. But overall, you're right. He came in. He brought the Nasty Boys with him. That was strike one. I mean, they were
Yeah,
they were
way past their
beyond
prime.
they were over by then. And I like Knobs as a character. He's a solid character, but I mean, they were so past their prime at that point. Then he also tried to get Orlando Jordan over, and that didn't pan out, right? Maybe
Yeah,
that
yeah,
wasn't.
they were trying to. Like honestly, by today's standards, that gimmick may have worked. I don't know, but back then they were like trying a whole big thing with him. I think the other thing is now Val Venus. Remember when he came over?
I was just going to mention Val Venus. Yeah,
Yeah, like I have no issue with the character, like nothing, but like he went over Christopher Daniels in his first match. Like you can't just bring a guy who's using a gimmick from 1999
yeah,
and then like no progression. Like I think it would have been funny had he starting off with a more of a comedic character like a Johnny Swinger type. But
yeah,
you can't have this guy who's not really been doing much for like the last two
yeah.
years
Well, let's
and
see.
just having him over.
Let's stick to the crew. We got someone else just joined in, Anthony. If you can shoot us a message in the chat if you want to say anything. I don't know if you know him, but
Yes, Larkin commented about Val Venus. Your feature presentation, Sean Morley, LOL.
Sean Morley. That's
Yep,
right.
yep.
That's
I mean
right.
that's the thing. Like that, I remember watching that or January 4th, 2010. That's when
Yes.
they brought back all these
Well, that was
legends.
that. Yeah, that was the debut of base. That was when the NWO came back, right?
Yes, yes. They called them the band. Yep, and they used the Wolfpack music though, without C Murder's raps on it. But they still had the rights to use that because
I
Jimmy Hart
was
was there. So,
I was still marking out. I don't care.
oh, absolutely, Scott Hall is like one of my favorite wrestlers. Like, I just wish that guy would have gotten his life around so he could have one like awesome run to end his career.
But even they were still pulling the same shenanigans
Yes,
when they won the titles. They cashed in and came out, and it was same
yes.
old. And I don't think the crowd liked it, but
Well, like everything, like I say this, I went to Lockdown 2010. My favorite match of the night was Team 3D versus the Outsiders. It wasn't like some, wrestling masterpiece by any means, but
right,
they brawled throughout the crowd and it worked. Like it was just great. Like two of arguably the best tag teams of all time going against each other. And to my knowledge, that's the only time they ever did, and you get to see this right live in
yeah.
person. I think like that
Oh,
was just
yeah,
that was
iconic. But
awesome.
before we continue with Hard to Kill, Blood Rain brought up a good point because I don't know if we'll talk about Black Taurus, um, but that TNA lost him.
Yeah,
Dude, I like that guy. I really liked him.
I did too. I did too. I felt like he could have been a main staple of the X division,
100%. He should have been the
or
champ of the X
even
division.
you could have even had like I know TNA's never had a hardcore belt, and like hardcore's kind of it's got that late '90s stigma to it. So
No,
I
it's
don't
not
know.
even that it's a late '90s stigma. It's that every match there's too many hardcore matches in general. Now. Like it's almost like
Yeah,
every match is hardcore anyway. Like
yeah, exactly. Why have a belt for it if you're gonna just do it in regular matches?
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
So,
yeah, no, I liked Black Taurus a lot. I have no hope for him in AEW because they
no.
just don't know how to present a
No.
guy like him.
I saw him on Ric Flair's last match pay-per-view,
Yes,
and to
yes,
me him and Jacob Fatu stole the show. The two of them put on a great, not against each other. They weren't in the same match, but overall on
right.
the card. And I was introduced to some people I had never really seen before, and the two of them really did a good job. And that guy is Black Taurus is awesome.
Yeah,
Sucks.
yeah,
He's going to
he
be
is the stuff he can do in the ring for a big. He's like an X Division guy, but he's like so much bigger than your standard X Division guy. So he can go in between the divisions is what I really like. He's kind of like akin to La Parka in that way. Goldberg, you still there? Oh, yeah, I don't know. Goldberg, you're live now, brother. I don't know.
Yeah, my bad.
I don't.
I went. I mean, we're. I was allowed one mistake after what you did. So
Yes, you're allowed one mistake. I got my charger down here, so we're good. We're good. Yeah. No, but like, Black Taurus, like I said, he's like Laparca. Laparca reminded me a lot like him, so that's why I dug it. Like, he kind of has the psychosis, looking
Yeah.
masks as well, but a little more menacing. So yeah, I don't think it was a problem putting him with Decay, but like they just never won enough
Right.
for you to just take him, really serious. Got a lot of title shots, just could not ever win the championship. So all right, so this match with Dirty Dango and PCO,
Yeah.
this was basically thrown out right away because of a DQ. Santino Marella comes out there and makes it a 3-on-3 because of the interference by Johnny Bravo, who's been kind of like Dirty Dango's lackey. And then also Oleg Prudek, who you may remember in WWE as Vladimir Kozlov.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my gosh, like to see this guy back in wrestling in 2024 after like not really doing anything for the last, I don't know, 10 years probably? Like,
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last time I saw him.
yeah. Like, you got any comments about Vladimir Kozlov? Was he ever one of your guys or?
No, not one of my guys, but
Yeah.
he is a like I do like he looks a lot older now, but
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's lost a lot of muscle
he
too.
aged. Um,
He definitely did, but I don't mind the gear he wears now because it's not like he's trying to be. He's not trying to show his physique, but he still doesn't look that bad. It's like a kind of reminds me of like a Kurgan
yeah, that's
or
yeah.
a Bull
Well,
Buchanan when they were in
Kurgan
Truth
was
and
a
Commission.
beast.
He absolutely was. Um, Vladimir Kozlov went over the Undertaker clean.
Did he? I'm actually looking at
Yeah,
his pictures right now with his shirt off, and he's actually pretty muscular.
yeah, still
Yes,
okay. I mean,
yes.
maybe okay. Maybe he just lost some muscle, but he's still kind of toned.
He had a belly in WWE. He doesn't really have that anymore.
No, he's
Yeah,
lean. He's just really lean
yeah.
now. So I mean, I don't mind it. Like
No,
to put him with Dirty Dango, I think it's actually a good. Like it's not bad to put him as his
Vladimir
enforcer.
Kozlov toy figure. Maybe I'll add to the collection.
Exactly, exactly. Um, yeah. So you got they make it a 6-man tag. They bring out Rhino, who's obviously good for these type of matches, and then Jake Something, who I think at some point they want to push. I mean, the guy's built pretty well. I don't know, I'm not sure he's going to be a main eventer just because I don't know if the guy has the presence to be one. But this was I don't know. I mean, it's your typical 6-man tag. It wasn't long. It got the crowd going. I mean, Rhino, anytime you bring Rhino out into a live crowd, people like it, right? Like, I know he's past his prime, but
Solid comment by Blood Rain about Black Taurus.
yeah. Yeah.
Cokehead land. That was curbing my.
He's absolutely
He's
right.
right.
Like,
He is right.
yeah,
Dark Bull.
yep.
That's a good point.
Dark
Yeah, he'll be
Bull.
he'll be on. I don't know. They don't have Dark anymore, right?
No, because it's like all Ring of Honor. Like, I think, yeah. Well, they added Collision, and then they got that Rampage, and then they added Ring of Honor. I don't even know what they do with Ring of. I don't even know. I don't even know if they actually do a show for Ring of Honor. Larkin, you or Blood Ran. I mean, you can say in the comments if they're still doing any shows with Ring of Honor, but I know they have matches.
I think they have matches. I don't. Do they have a? Maybe it's a. Is it an online show? I have no idea. Couldn't tell you
Yeah,
either.
that's your guess is as good as
I
mine.
mean, that's what's sad. This guy tried to revive a brand, and we don't even know what the fuck how to watch it.
So dumb. So dumb. Like, how many mistakes can you just count in your head that Tony Khan has made in the last 5 years?
In my head, probably 78.
Yeah, at least, right? At least. Like, if anybody
Mistake
said
number
Dixie,
one, being head booker.
correct? Yeah, there you go. Guy won't give it up. Like, seriously, this is literally him playing a video game. in real life.
100%.
This is what Tony Khan's doing. I got money. I'm going to pay these guys, and then I'm going to book it like I book a video game.
100%. That's why I'm telling you, his storylines are not real. They don't. He just thinks of something else, and he goes with that because he's booking on a week-to-week basis.
Correct. There's no long-term plans. There's absolutely no hype. I don't get it. I don't get they got the money. They have everything else, but they don't know how to book. And that's a huge problem. Huge. So, gosh, it's just, it just makes me mad to see the wasted potential.
Well, and let's not forget that they do have a stacked roster. They do have a literally loaded roster. This guy could have been the next TNA. He could have had the next TNA. Because let's not forget, TNA, people bash it, but they took it head to head with WWE. They tried it. They tried to go head to head with WWE. They were doing ratings. They were doing tremendous ratings to a point where they thought they could go to head to head with WWE, even though it turned out to be a mistake. But they built stars. They did so many positive things, and Tony Khan had the chance to do that. All he had to do was put someone in charge who knows what the hell they're doing. And he has so many guys like Wardlow who could have been just stars. Like, you picture this: if Samoa Joe wasn't already a somebody, and he was in AEW right now as an up and comer, would he ever make it in this business?
No.
It's an absolute no.
Yep.
A definite no. Tony Khan would never have gotten any of these guys over.
Yeah.
Jay Lethal, Christopher Daniels, none of them would ever get over under Tony Khan.
No. Well, why do you think Kazarian left? I think exactly why. Yeah. He saw the writing on the wall, like how this guy's gonna book. It's just
now that Alex Shelley, I know Chris Sabin's still champ, and I'm going all over the place, but now that Alex Shelley lost the title, I wouldn't mind seeing a TNA Originals stable.
That's something they could do. They could do something like that, and they got a lot of guys that they could still do that with.
Eric Young, Kazarian, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin. I'm missing one. Am I missing?
I mean, would you consider Rhino a TNA original?
Probably not. Okay. But pretty close to it.
Yeah, like he was there pretty early in the beginning.
But those guys made their careers at TNA. Rhino didn't. But I will never forget one of my favorite pay-per-views, Bound for Glory. What year was that? When Rhino won the 3 matches and beat Jeff Jarrett for the title.
Oh, Bound for Glory, 2004.
Is that what it was? 04?
Yeah, because Kevin Nash got a staph infection. So that's kind of they were kind of like pinned up against the wall.
He won like a battle royal, right? He won.
He
won. I think he won a Monsters Ball or some kind of hardcore match, and then he limped his way into the main event and beat Jeff Jarrett. That was great.
Yep.
Great.
That was all. Yeah, that was all. Kevin Nash was supposed to win. Kevin Nash
was he really?
Oh, yeah, he was supposed to be the champ that night. Yep. And fortunately, he got a staph infection in Rhino.
Kevin Nash did so many great things, though, at TNA. He really did.
He did. I mean, Main Event Mafia, you know how I feel. One of my favorite stables of all time.
I'll never forget him and Sting leaving when Hogan and Flair joined their groups together, Fortune and what was Hogan's group?
Immortal
and Fortune joining together.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget Sting and Nash coming out and saying, "Not this time. We're not interested."
Yep. And that's when Nash left TNA for good.
That was it. Yep, that was it.
Yeah. So I honestly think Kevin Nash went back on interviews and said like he liked how Jeff Jarrett ran it. So I think that was.
I wouldn't.
Goldberg.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Okay, you kind of broke up.
So because I got a phone call, it cut me off.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind seeing Jeff Jarrett come back and and I don't know. He doesn't have to be a champ, obviously, but he can come back and be some sort of influence in the new TNA. This is his baby, after all.
Well, true, but I actually don't think we're going to see that. I think there's a little bit of bad blood with D'Amore. Well, not necessarily D'Amore. I think it's more Ed Nordholm and Jeff Jarrett. Remember how GFW and the whole Mexico gate with the tacos, and I guess Jarrett was drunk and then he got fired, basically.
Oh, that was a different time.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think he does. I would like to see him back, but you know, but anyways, going